So we are going to be talking about the beginner's guide to online course delivery and continued service, okay? So this is pretty much where you move into empire building. So just a heads up, that's what we're going to be going into. First things first, I do want to let you know a couple housekeeping things real quick, okay? So right now we are at the end, we are on the last day of the Fix Your Online Course Challenge, okay? So July 26th through 30th, we are now on the last day. Now, this exists in my group, okay? The link to my group is in the description of this video, and if you're like, oh my gosh, I missed it. You did not miss it. It lives in the guide section forever and ever, amen. Okay, so if you're watching this video and today, the last day, you're like, man, I missed it. Or you're watching this video in the future and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't go through it. You can absolutely go through it. Still join that group, go to the guide section, and then you're going to look for the guide with that name right there. So the Fix Your Online Course Challenge, go through day 1 through day 5, and you are going to crush it, okay? Everybody that's already been through the challenge so far already understands, already gets that it has been insane. It's like a course you should have paid for, but it was free. Because hi, I'm Martha Krejci, and that is just simply how I do things, okay? So the Fix Your Online Course Challenge. Now, next piece of housekeeping is the Mastermind. If you are not yet in the Mastermind, but you have a business or you have income streams that you're running that you need help with, you feel stuck in some capacity, and maybe it's not a full-on stuck, right? Maybe you're growing it and you're working your business and that sort of thing, but there's something that just isn't cranking right. You don't feel like the growth is happening as quickly as you would like for it to happen. That's what these are for. These are 90-day anchor points. So every 90 days I have a mastermind. And so I bring in speakers to both speak life over you and get you unstuck, but then also to introduce you to some new tactics, perspectives, things that you can do, skill sets, ways that you haven't looked at your problem before that get you unstuck. Okay, so that's what this is. marthasmastermind.com, that's where you're going to go. It's where everybody who is really, truly wanting to grow their business, not with fluff, but like for sure want to grow their business, everybody goes to this, okay? So marthasmastermind.com, do not miss it. It's August 28th and 29th, okay? Let's see. Also, if you are watching this on the YouTubes, do make sure that you click on the subscribe button as well as the bell so you get notified when new videos come on. If you are watching somewhere else, make sure that you click over to YouTube after this video, search my first and last name, and subscribe. Also, one person every single week is going to win something. So how cool is that, right? So subscribe to YouTube, comment on YouTube videos, and share the YouTube videos in social media. And all you have to do is tag me or my business page in it and do those 3 things. One person every single week is going to win something. So there's that. That ain't nothing. All right. Now let's go ahead and get started. I see you guys. Good morning. I see all of you. So let's get at it. Beginner's Guide to Online Course Delivery and Continued Service. It sounds real geeky, doesn't it? It sounds real like, oh man, this is going to be dry. It's not. This is actually how you're going to be growing your business and creating your empire. So it may sound geeky, but it's everything. All right. So the very first thing, you guys, delivery. Let's define delivery real quick. Delivery is how you deliver your program. So how it's the process from when somebody buys your program or your course to what it takes for them to get what they need in order to move forward in the course. Okay? So what is that stuff? What does that look like? Is it an email? Is it an onboarding experience? Is it, giving them access to a Facebook group, a community for accountability? What kind of stuff is in that delivery part? And how quickly do they receive the deliverables? Now, the cool thing about automation in our world is that they literally, whenever they sign up for something, if you have it set up this way, which typically people do, usually people can receive their deliverables immediately. So it shouldn't take that long. So really what we need to focus on is what are we giving them? Okay? So I'm going to say the bottom of the barrel courses are going to give them a login. That's the expectation. Society's expectation of getting into an online course is to receive login information, and then they'll go and they'll do it on their own time whenever they can, which may or may not happen. You know, how many people have bought courses and then just never took them? I'm guilty. I have like a lot of courses. I stockpiled, like I am a course hoarder, okay? So I know that behavior because I do that behavior, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. So what we want to do is we want to set ourselves apart, because at the end of the day, you guys, never do we want somebody to just buy one course from us, right? If we really, really look to help people out in their lives, look to help them transform to X to Z, right? If we want to help them go from this to this, and they buy a course from us and never log into it and never do it, some marketers out there would be like, cool, you know, whatever, they didn't take it, and blah, you know? But that's not us. We need for them to take it because what we give them is transformational. It's life-changing is what we give to them. And if they don't log into it and they don't actually do it, their life doesn't change. And who gives a rip about the dollars from people whose lives are not changed? Okay? Really? And if you're the person that's like, well, I don't care if they take it or whatever, just please go watch somebody else. Okay? Like, that's fine and good. Please look for a place within yourself that lights up when people are changed, okay? Let's stop looking at dollars and cents, and let's look at the piece of ourselves that lights up when people around us realize who they really are, right? Or realize, oh my gosh, my life doesn't have to be this way. Oh my gosh, these things that they've told me are not true, you know? Oh my gosh, I can have my business from home and not be starving. That's the stuff that what you need to look for in yourself is what lights you up, and you need to be delivering that kind of content. Because if you're only caring about dollars and cents, you're probably teaching the wrong content, okay? And you're not going to be successful anyway, because people can smell that a mile away and they don't want to be a part of it. You guys, if you don't think society is changing, you're not paying attention, okay? People are choosing to buy things from people. Not big corporations, from people. We have big corporations trying to look like people. We have the advantage. We are where the economy is going. But you got to take advantage of it, and you've got to take it by the horns, right? And you got to say, like, here's what I'm going to do to serve people. That's real. So in delivery, my question for you is, what do you want to do, right? How do you want to set yourself apart? Because like with me and my courses, I run world-class communities, okay? Anybody that has ever been in one of my communities knows. My communities are bomb. And it's not because I put so much awesome stuff in my communities. I mean, I put great stuff in my communities, but I also make sure the bad stuff don't make it in there. I don't let people bully. I don't let people get crappy with each other. I don't let any of that happen. And so I set the tone, I set the culture. And then I also set the culture of helping each other out. I set the culture of ask your question if you have a question, right? On one of my group coaching things yesterday, there was a thing that we talked about, and part of our community is so good because a lot of, courses, whenever you join them, they don't want you really to ask questions because that's going to take time and work for them to have to respond to. We built our business around answering questions. We have a team of people that answer questions for you. And if they can't answer the questions for you, it comes up to me and I answer the question for you. I want you asking questions because I want the transformation for you. So in my deliverables, in my delivery, you know that whatever you get into of mine is supported. Whatever you get into of mine is going to be way more, the value is going to be way more than what you paid for it. Plus, there's a community and a culture around it that you have never seen before in your life, right? And that's me, and that's what sets me apart in my deliverables. And you guys, what that does now is that's part of my brand. So then my question for you, and this is just on deliverables, and then I'm going to move on. My question for you is, what are your deliverables going to be? What sets you apart? What are people going to say about you? It's important. Now, the next thing that we're going into is continued service, and this won't take as long at all. But continued service is, as you're paying attention to the needs of the people in your group, in your community, if you create a community around your program, if you're paying attention to the needs that are coming up, what you're going to do is you're going to categorize them in two ways. This is your empire building, okay? You categorize them in two ways. One category, like you put them on paper, okay? Have a notebook just for this. That would be great. Doesn't need to be a big notebook, but have a notebook for it. Have two categories. One category is things that people are asking for that I can add into my program. Add value, add value. How many of you guys are in HBR? And then how many of you know about the value add? How many of you have seen me add and add and add and add? That's what I do, right? So in the categories, one side is going to be adding things to your program that people are asking for. And then one side, the other category, is going to be other supplemental programs that you can create to answer these questions that people have. Because sometimes it doesn't make sense to add it into the program, but you can add it as a supplemental program. Maybe it's a low cost, and I call it a slice of meatloaf. Go ask my HBR people about it. A slice of meatloaf. But what you do is you have those, and they're essentially satellite things, right? So you have your main topic, and then you have little satellites around that main topic. Well, that's like, what you're doing is you're doing a deep dive into things people are asking about. So if they're asking for something that's really a big concept, and you don't think it, like maybe the price doesn't make sense to be able to do that deep of a dive, like the price that they paid in the beginning doesn't make sense, do a deep dive off to the side, and then let people take that deep dive if they want. Okay? That's how, so one category of adding content, which I do all the time. And then also the other category is creating satellite, other education, other courses, other trainings to be able to run alongside. This is how you start creating an empire around this teaching and this training that you do. And now you can look at my courses and my programs that I have, and you'll see that I have little offshoot programs, a bat signal course, right? I have an online course, which I know is a riot, but it's an online course. So I did a deep dive into how to create an online course, right? All of those things, like that's what you do. And so you've got delivery, how you deliver, how are you going to be set apart, what is your brand, and then the other thing is the two categories of continued service. How are you going to continue to serve your people? Those are the two things that I want you to be focusing on today, okay? First things first, here at the end, last things last, I guess. If you are not yet in HBR, I'm going to tell you right now, this is where everything happens. If you want to know my own blueprint of how I created 7-figure months working from home in 5 to 10 hours a week, like real talk, okay? If you want to know my own blueprint and the how-to of that, and the how-to of the content strategy around it, and essentially at the end, all you have to do is create a social media post, and all of these wheels start turning because you have them all set up correctly, that is HBR. And so what you're going to do, I'm doing it half off until midnight tonight, okay? So you'll go to Livin the Dream with Martha. You'll message me the words, let's do this, case study, whatever you want. And then we'll have a chat, and then I'll give you the details of the program, and you'll be in or out. Here's the thing, though. If you're out, no big deal. I'm not going to chase you around the internet. But if you're out, just understand that it's very likely you're going to be back in 6 months. You're going to join, and then you're going to say, man, I wish I did this 6 months ago. It's just something I hear a lot. I'm just saying, okay? So that is HBR. And then also, in the description of this video, there is a link for a workshop that is happening this evening, and that is from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be going over what you're going to name your course, what the name of your course should be. Even if you already have it named, we're going to make sure that you've got it named something that's going to hook people and have them realize that they need what you have. And then also, what we're going to go through is how to become preeminent in your market, regardless of whether you have certifications and letters behind your name and qualifications and all of these things. Regardless of that, I'm going to show you how to show up as an authority and be preeminent in your market, because that needs to happen before anything else. Okay, so we're going to be going through that. The link is in the description of this video. Here is a thing, very last thing. Only 100 people are going to be able to come to that. No, it will not be available later. For the 100 people, you will have replays for life, but you're not going to be able to buy this later. So if you want to buy it and then watch it later, you still need to get it before tonight. So just a heads up. Love you guys. See you later.